Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, and thanks for listening. This is Moments of Clarity. I'm Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, Tom. Thanks for coming in today so that we could do a great show to educate on the 4th of July and really pay respects as well to our veterans that have made Independence Day and all the previous ones continue to exist, but exist in the first place. And speaking of 4th of July, I have a special guest, and it's not something you get on the show. I think she's the first female disabled veteran, and she's experienced quite a bit, and we're going to not only go into how people differently can be affected by trauma and end up with post-traumatic stress. It's not always just post-combat, but a lot of veterans suffer from post-traumatic stress as well because of other things that were there as well. And not only that, but some techniques that are very accurate and helpful in dealing with trauma and healing from it, and the triggers and the coping skills. And I want to welcome to Moments of Clarity, Rachel Shri Kristine. Hey, Rachel. Happy 4th of July.
Same to you.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Beautiful day out here.
Yeah, so she's calling in from, I know it's earlier there for Colorado. It's beautiful over there?
Yeah, it's gorgeous today.
Yeah, it's not so great. It looks like it's kind of overcast in Florida here, but that's okay.
Your sun.
Hopefully, it comes and goes. Florida, you just never know. The weather doesn't always stick. So anyway, female veteran, huh? And 4th of July, and I know that you've done a lot. You have your own show. You have a podcast. You're doing outreach, and I commend you on so many things, and thank you so much for your service. I'm just going to say that before I forget. But do you want to talk a little bit about what got you to where you are today, and go into a little bit of your treatment, the role thing, and everything that you've discovered that has helped so many people?
For sure. So,
and I want to welcome callers to call in really quick before you start, Rachel. 866-826-1340. 866-826-1340. Call in, show your support, say happy 4th of July. Then 866-826-1340. All right, Rachel. So, yeah, as far back you want to go.
Yeah, for sure. So I joined the military when I was 18. I was a troubled youth, you could call it. So I got kicked out early and needed to find my way. And I was a military brat.
A rebel.
My dad was in the Army. Yeah. A little bit of a rebel. A little bit of a don't like to follow rules, which is kind of funny for joining the military.
You don't normally hear about that with girls. I just don't. It's cool hearing it from a female perspective, not saying that it's...
Yeah.
Whenever it's just not every day that you...
We can be just as stubborn.
A little girl's getting rebellious in school. We're going to send her off to military school or Army. You just don't hear that every day. You hear it more for boys, and I don't know. I don't know that there's even a reason for that, except for, I guess, probably because women weren't allowed in the military back in the day.
Probably.
Okay, so exactly. Army brat and moved around a lot.
Yeah. My dad was in the service for, I think, 14 years. And when I went to join the service, he asked me if I wanted to sleep in a tent or a hotel. And I was like, a hotel? So he said, join the Air Force, not the Army. So that was very helpful.
Good to know.
Very, very helpful. Yeah. We have much better accommodations in the Air Force than the Army does. They would come to our bases when they were deployed and our bases were their vacations. So
Plus, aviation just sounds cool.
To them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you think you're going to join the Air Force and fly planes, but you're most likely not going to do that.
Oh, bummer. But you get a hotel and not a tent.
Yeah, but you get a hotel. So, okay.
But the Navy gets
dorm.
a boat. The yacht.
Yeah, they get giant boats. Yeah.
No, just...
I
anyway.
not want to be stuck on a boat.
So you didn't get to fly in planes? You joined the Air Force and planes?
I worked with planes, but I didn't fly on them. So I loaded and unloaded airplanes with cargo and people.
Okay. So what kind of cargo, like planes, and you had to load and unload?
Yeah, so for the first 6 months that I was in was right before 9/11, and it was kind of like a normal job. So it was almost like a UPS. You would load mail going to other bases. You would load people's households being shipped as they were moving. It was pretty normal things to be shipping around, some vehicles like Humvees and big water trucks and things like that. And then September 11th happened and the cargo changed. It's like the rest of the world changed, yeah. So, yeah.
And it was, what did it change to, just in case people can't assume?
Yeah, the cargo changed to shipping weapons downrange being where the people were deployed to, where the war was happening. Shipping weapons, shipping food, not only for our troops, but also for the countries we were bombing, which really confused me. We were dropping these things called age rations, and they had little pictures on the front of the rations on how to eat this food, because it wasn't their food, it was our food. So they didn't even know how to eat it.
You fed the people that you're bombing at the same time?
Yeah, we were bombing the countries and sending food to the countries. It didn't make sense to my brain at all.
It doesn't, but it's kind of almost like, here's a bomb with a side of guilt. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then they also dropped like leaflets. I have a couple of those that I kept like as souvenirs.
Leaflets?
4 souvenirs.
What
leaflets like vacate the area.
For the
or
civilians,
how to use the
or
food. Yeah.
Maybe it was the food, but it was the food for, or maybe that's what it was for. But,
yeah.
But wow.
Yeah. Shipping guys downrange to fight the war. I was part of the first upload for, I think it was 173rd out of Vicenza, Italy. They were the first guys to get shipped downrange, and we were the ones that had to make sure all their vehicles were ready to go and all their cargo was ready to go. And that giant drop, that first drop that happened, I helped load up those guys and all their gear and equipment, and then watched on TV as they dropped in and what happened to all of them. And yeah, pretty crazy.
Oh, because you get to see them through their, what are the cameras called that?
No, just like on the news, like on the AFN is the Armed Forces Network, which is like the military TV channels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just on the regular news that you guys would see, that everybody would see.
Oh, okay. So what were the cargo planes called?
There's different types, different sizes. The C-5 is the biggest airplane and holds the most cargo, and the front of it opens up so you can dive in fire trucks and tanks and load helicopters onto it. And then they go all the way down to a C-130. That's a very small aircraft that was mainly used for, it has a quicker, I don't even know what you call it, but it can get up and down quicker and avoid being shot at easier than the bigger planes. Yeah.
So which one did you have more experience with?
Oh, we worked with all of them. I drove a giant vehicle most of my time when I was stationed at Ramstein called a K-loader. And it's a big, giant vehicle with a tiny little cabin on it that has rollers on it, so you can load pallets onto the aircraft if it's cargo, like boxes and food and water. Or you can flip the rollers and drive vehicles onto it, like Humvees and trucks, to load them onto the aircraft. And then this vehicle, raises and lowers, really high into the sky for the bigger planes, and then really low to the ground for the smaller planes.
Neat.
I said it was the worst job. It was like being a truck driver and being in there for 14 hours in this tiny little cabin and then getting out and you're in the exact same place you started.
Okay, well, if you put it that way, it sucks, but it sounded cool for a second.
Yeah,
it did sound cool.
It was really cool before the war started and you weren't allowed to get out. Like, I would call in to my shop on the radio and say I had to pee, or I'm a female, I need to change my tampon. And they would say, no, too bad. And I'm like, I'm going to pee my pants, or I'm going to get sick. Like, I can't leave the tampon in for 12 hours. And I would...
Yeah, you can't leave the tampon in for 12 hours. The pamphlets say so. You get toxic shock syndrome and stuff. It's lethal.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just nasty.
I was in a shop of 60 guys, and there was only 3 or 4 females. So...
With how many men? And
60.
Wow.
Yeah.
So some of the listeners that are female probably are thinking, "Wow, that sounds like good odds," but it must not have been a very good situation for you in the Army. Like, how did you get treated being one of few females among mostly a male platoon or group?
We call them squadrons in the Air Force.
Okay, squadrons.
Yeah. You have a lot of females think this way in the military, not all, of course, but you have 3 options for being a female. You can either be, I don't know, you said don't cuss, but you can either be a slut.
Just don't use the major words. Yeah,
a slut, a B word, or a lesbian. Those are your 3 choices.
So what's the difference between them?
If you didn't sleep with everybody, if you didn't sleep with everybody hated you, and you were a B. And since I had a boyfriend.
Okay. So you're either taking one for the team, holding out and seeing what happens, or going to the other side of the fence kind of deal.
Yeah. Or you're just...
Did it really matter, honestly, if you had told somebody there that you were a lesbian, would they have even cared?
At that time, yes. At that time, it was not acceptable. Like, around your friends, you could have probably talked about it. Like, I had a couple of friends that were gay, and that was okay, but...
I didn't mean it like that. I was meaning it more like... Management. More like, some people don't care what your preference is, men. Like, they'd still hit on you, is what I'm saying.
Oh. I don't know. I guess if you were pretty enough, they wouldn't care.
Well, I've seen pictures of you, and you are, so did you have a problem with that?
Yeah.
So how did that affect you?
It made life pretty difficult. I was sexually harassed a lot in my 6 years I served. I had a boyfriend.
Wow, and you went through all that too. You had a boyfriend the whole time? Was he there with you?
Yeah. He was in the same career field, and he worked at the same job, but in a different part of the job. Yeah, but he couldn't really stand up for me because he would have gotten in trouble because it was like superiors that were saying things to me and doing things to me. Mm. So it was really up to me to be able to stand up for myself, to say anything. And I'm a very sensitive person, I've learned, and that was really difficult for me.
Yeah, and like, how do you trust your partner when they can't stick up for you, but at the same time, even when if it's against, they can't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it caused a lot of fights.
Right.
I'm like, why can't you just say something? Why can't you just do something? And he's like, because I can't. He's like, you have to.
That's gotta be rough.
It was really tough. Yeah.
And especially, even for him, it's like he might have wanted to, protect his woman at the same time. But, and then isn't there like a bro code? Like, they're not supposed to. We're getting off topic here, but like you having a boyfriend and he's part of the group. Like, isn't he part of the squadron? Sorry, isn't he? Yeah. Isn't that doesn't it make you off limits?
He wasn't. I don't want to speak ill of him. He's not my ex-husband, but he's not a very man.
Just speak factual is okay.
Yeah, he was a very sweet, loving, kind person, but he's not. He's not the type of person to stand up for me in that way. So I think a lot of guys knew that.
And so that they just took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so some things happened.
Yeah.
We're going to go to our first break really quick. I need to do a sound check. I want to make sure that the sound's coming through on all platforms really quick. And but just hang on 1 second. Some of the more tragic pieces, but then Rachel has a happy ending. She's here to talk about it too. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment.